Jace Rowan was just another human technician on a huge alien research station. He fixed broken doors, cleaned waste units, replaced fuses. Nothing exciting, nothing dangerous. Until one night, he heard her. It started as a whisper, a voice so soft it could have been the wind in the vents. "Open the door, human, please." Jace stopped walking. He was deep in Sector 12, a place most workers avoided. It was old, sealed, and quiet. His work order said to check the heat sensors near Storage Bay 9. But now he stood in front of a metal door, tall, smooth, with strange glowing lines. No label, no keypad. The voice came again, slightly louder. "Open the door, human. Free me." Jace stepped back. "Who's there?" No answer. He looked around. The hallway was empty. Lights flickered. The air smelled like rust and coolant. He pulled out his scanner and pointed it at the door. The screen flashed. Restricted. Level 9. Access. Only he was level 2. Jace scratched his head. No way a door this deep should still be powered. Suddenly, the voice returned. This time it sounded tired and scared. "Please. Before they come again." Something about that voice. It wasn't robotic. It wasn't fake. It sounded like a girl. Someone suffering. He checked the hall. Again, no cameras, no guards. Jace connected his scanner to the panel and began to override the security. It wasn't easy, but he'd done it before to sneak into locked lunchrooms. After a few minutes, the screen blinked green. Click. The door opened halfway. Inside, everything was dim. A cold blue light glowed from the walls. At the center of the room, inside a glowing force cage, sat her. She looked barely alive. Her skin was pale blue, almost silver. Her hair was white, long, tangled like silk. She wore a simple gown, thin and torn. Her arms and legs were covered in strange markings, some natural, some made by machines. She looked up at him. Her eyes glowed softly. "You're human," she said. Her voice was real now, no longer a whisper. Jace took a step closer. "Who are you?" She tried to stand but collapsed to her knees. "My name is Nara Ven. Please don't tell them you found me." Jace looked around. Machines lined the walls. Monitors showed her heart rate, brain scans, and DNA patterns. He saw tubes leading from the cage to vials, each labeled with something called Sequence 13A. "Are they taking your DNA?" he asked. She nodded weakly. "They said I'm rare, useful. My cells heal fast. My blood can kill diseases. They want to copy me, again and again until I'm empty." Jace's hands clenched. "That's horrible." She looked straight at him. Her voice was soft but full of pain. "They told me I was chosen, but I'm not special. I'm just a tool to them." He felt a chill go down his spine. "Why you?" "Because my DNA isn't like others," she whispered. "It can evolve faster. It can mix with any species. That's why they keep me locked up. Not because I'm dangerous, but because I could make them rich." Jace looked at the cage. He had seen similar ones used for wild animals. Tight, electric, escape-proof. She wasn't even chained. She didn't need to be. She was too weak to run. Suddenly, the hallway lights outside flickered red. A robotic voice came through the station. Speakers. "Security sweep in progress. All personnel clear lower sectors." Nara panicked. "Please hide. If they see you here, they'll take you too, or wipe your memory." Jace stepped back into the hall. He quickly relocked the door, sealing it tight again. His heart pounded as he ran down the corridor, slipping into a side tunnel just as 2 guards walked by. They didn't see him. He waited in silence, his back against the cold wall. His mind raced. Who was she really? Was this a trap? But her voice, it didn't sound like a trick. It sounded real. Later that night, Back in his small bunk room, Jace couldn't sleep. He kept hearing her words, seeing her eyes. "Open the door, human. Free me." He stared at the ceiling. He had joined this station to escape war, to live quietly, fix lights, stay out of trouble, but now he had a choice. If he helped her, he'd be risking his job, his life. But if he didn't, she would die in that cage, alone, used, forgotten. Jace sat up, clenched his jaw, and whispered to himself, "I'm going back." The hallway was darker than Jace remembered. The air was colder, quieter, like the walls were listening, but he didn't stop. He reached the sealed door deep in Sector 12, placed his scanner against the panel again, and whispered, "I'm back. Beep." The screen blinked green. Click. The door slid open. There she was, still inside the glowing force cage. Her head lifted slowly. "You came." Jace stepped inside, carrying a small bag. "I brought food. It's not much, just a protein, bar and water." Naraven's hands trembled as she took the bar. She bit it gently like she hadn't eaten solid food in days. She chewed in silence, then whispered, "Thank you." Jace sat down on the cold floor, outside the force cage. "What did they do to you?" Nara leaned back, her eyes tired but watching him closely. "They say my blood is too valuable, too useful. They take a little more each day." Jace nodded slowly. "What makes you so special?" She looked down at her hands. "It's not something I chose. My DNA, it changes to match others. It adapts instantly, heals faster. And if they study it long enough, they can make it do things." Jace blinked. "Like what?" She hesitated. "Like erase diseases, or create new ones, make weapons that live, soldiers that never die." Jace's stomach turned. "And they keep you locked in a box just to copy your cells?" She nodded. "They don't call me by my name, they call me Subject 13A. Jace felt his throat tighten. "That's not right." Nara looked at him carefully. "Why are you helping?" "Me?" He shrugged. "I don't know. Maybe because no one else is." She smiled, just barely. "Most humans here ignore me. You didn't." Jace looked at her glowing cage. "How strong is that thing?" "It's powered by something ancient," she said. "Even I can't touch the walls. If I try to use my strength, the cage shocks me." Jace studied the control panel. Complex alien symbols. Energy locks tied to central AI. "It would take time to break you out," he muttered. Nara leaned forward, voice soft. "They will increase the drain tomorrow. The final phase." Jace looked at her sharply. "Final phase?" She nodded. "Once they remove the core sequence from my DNA, I'll die within hours." His blood ran cold. "How long do we have?" "Maybe 1 day." Jace stood up and took a deep breath. "Then tomorrow we stop being quiet." Nara tilted her head. "You'll come back?" He looked her in the eyes. "I'll do more than that." Back in his quarters, Jace accessed hidden maps of the research station. He studied every hallway, every duct, every security camera. He found a blind spot near the waste chute leading out of the lab. That was his exit plan. He just had to unlock the cage, without setting off alarms. And for that, he needed access to the central core. That meant breaking into the command bay, a level far above his pay grade. The next morning, Jace returned to Nara with something new. A small earpiece. He passed it. "Under the force field using a metal claw. Put this in," he said. She obeyed. "Now we can talk even when I'm not here," he said. "Keep it hidden." Nara nodded. "Thank you, Jace." He paused. "You remembered my name?" "Of course," she said. "You're the first person who ever used mine." Suddenly, a distant alarm sounded. Jace turned toward the door. "Security sweep," Nara whispered. "You need to go." He hesitated. She reached toward the cage wall. "Please, stay alive." Jace backed away. "I'll be back. Tonight, I promise." The door slid shut behind him. Outside, in a shadowed hallway, a figure watched Jace walk away. An alien in a black coat holding a silent recorder. He smiled. So the human is making friends with the specimen. He turned and walked off into the dark. Time to inform the doctor. Subject 13A has a visitor. Jace stared at the blueprint on his screen. It flickered in front of him in his small, dim bunk. Lines, red circles, moving dots. Every red dot was a security bot. Every blue line was a hallway. And one blinking green square. That was her, Nara. Still, locked in the force cage, still running out of time, he zoomed in on the lower levels. There, it was small, but it was there. A narrow disposal shaft connected to the air purification ducts, unused, unwatched, and just big enough for a small body to crawl through. It was the only way out. The message came in through the tiny earpiece he had given her. Nara's voice was soft but strained. They gave me new injections today. My arms are numb. I can't feel my fingers anymore. Jace closed his eyes. I'm going to get you out, tonight. She was quiet for a long moment. I want to believe you. You'll see, Jace whispered. Just stay strong. That afternoon, Jace walked into the equipment bay like nothing was wrong. He signed out an EMP pulse grenade, a low-frequency scanner, and a thermal override spike, standard maintenance gear, if you knew how to lie well enough. He passed 3 guards in the hallway. They barely noticed him. He moved like a shadow through the vents, checking every door and camera near Sector 12. Time was short. He had only one window, between the night shift rotation and the arrival of the medtechs for Nara's final harvest. He could not fail. That evening, inside the force cage, Nara sat with her knees drawn to her chest. Her breathing was slower. Her glow was dimmer. Jace's voice buzzed in her ear. I found the exit route. It's a maintenance tunnel behind the chamber. I'll get the cage open and carry you out. 10 minutes, she whispered back. My legs won't move anymore. I'll carry you, he said. You just have to stay awake. Her voice broke. Why are you doing this? Because if I don't, Jace said, you'll die, and I refuse to let that happen. Jace arrived at the sealed chamber with his toolkit. The outer guards had been sent to respond to a fake fire alarm, triggered by his AI assistant an hour earlier. He had 5 minutes before they returned. He plugged the thermal spike into the cage's power unit. It began to hiss. Steam rose. The metal glowed red. Inside the cage, Nara watched him, her eyes wide but hopeful. The lock clicked. The force field flickered, then dropped. She fell forward, straight into his arms. He caught her gently. Her skin was ice cold. Her pulse weak. I've got you, he whispered. But just as he lifted her, a voice echoed from the hallway. Don't move. Jace turned sharply. A human, another technician, stood there with a pulse rifle. His friend from training, Derek, one of the few people Jace once trusted. I warned you, man, Derek said. They're watching. They offered me a deal. Said if I turned you in, they'd forget a few of my mistakes. Jace's grip on Nara tightened. You don't have to do this. Derek's eyes twitched. She's not even one of us. She's a lab sample. She's alive, Jace shouted. She's someone. Derek raised the rifle. Suddenly, boom, the lights exploded. Smoke filled the hallway. Jace had dropped the EMP grenade. He didn't wait. He ran, carrying Nara through the back wall panel. He had loosened the night before. Alarms started screaming, intrusion detected. Lab 13A breached. The tunnel was tight and dark. Pipes hissed. Jace crawled with Nara on his back, one hand guiding them forward. She coughed weakly. I can't breathe. Hold on, he said. We're almost there. Behind them, mechanical footsteps echoed. Security bots were coming. Jace reached the vent that led to the air system. He kicked it open, climbed through, and pulled Nara with him. The passage was tighter now, too narrow to stand, too small to turn around, but forward was freedom. They dropped into a dark waste processing room. Jace ripped open a control box and shut down the sensors. He laid Nara down gently on a pile of clean rags. She was pale, her lips blue. No. No. Don't you quit now. He said, shaking her lightly. Her eyes fluttered open. You kept your promise. Jace smiled. I'm not done yet. He checked the exit hatch. It led to the exterior dock, where a small cargo ship rested, one he could override. But behind him, metal claws scraped against the wall. They'd been found, and the real escape had just begun. Jace slammed the control panel with his fist. The hatch refused to open. Warning lights blinked red. A cold robotic voice repeated in a loop. Unauthorized escape detected, containment protocol active. He looked back. Nara lay on the floor, breathing heavily, her skin pale like fading moonlight. She had no strength left. He had carried her this far, but the door ahead was locked and the claws behind them were getting closer. Just a little more, he whispered, eyes burning. He turned to the emergency manual release lever. Then he heard footsteps. Not metal. Not boots. A flashlight beam hit his face. Drop it, Jace. The voice was cold, familiar. He turned, stunned. Derek? His friend, his former friend, stood at the doorway, flanked by 2 alien guards. Pulse gun ready. Armor marked with, "The station security crest, I warned you," Derek said, stepping closer. "You could have walked away, but no, you had to be the hero." Jace shook his head slowly. "You lied to me. You knew what they were doing to her." Derek didn't flinch. "And you know what she is. Not human. Not one of us. She's a project. You broke protocol for a lab pet." "She's not a pet," Jace growled. "She's someone." Derek looked at Nara. She was trying to sit up, shaking, still glowing faintly. "She's dangerous," Derek said. "You think they locked her away for no reason?" Jace stepped in front of her. "If she was dangerous, she would have killed us all. She's the one being hurt." Derek's expression turned to disgust. "You're blinded. We're not just losing a lab asset. You're handing over something worth trillions." "I don't care what she's worth," Jace snapped. "She's not for sale." The guards moved in. Jace reached for his backup pulse blaster, but Derek was faster. A stun beam hit him in the chest. Pain shot through his body. He collapsed, gasping. Nara screamed, "No, stop!" She forced herself forward, crawling toward. Jace out, but the guards surrounded her. One raised a sedative injector. Before it struck, boom! A surge of raw bioenergy blasted out of her body. The nearest guard flew back, hitting the wall hard. Nara's eyes burned white for a moment, bright and terrifying. Then, she collapsed. Unconscious. Jace blinked as his vision returned. He was on the floor, wrists tied. Nara was gone. Only a smear of blue light marked where she had been. Derek stood above him. "I should let the bots finish you," he said. "But the doctor wants to see you first." Jace spat blood. "Tell your doctor to choke on his credits." Derek knelt. "You don't get it. This isn't about one girl. Her DNA can change everything. We're this close to creating the perfect soldier, adaptable, immortal, unstoppable." Jace looked up. "You mean a slave, a weapon?" Derek smirked. "Same thing, different name." Hours passed. Jace was dragged through the upper levels of the lab. The halls were brighter here, cleaner, sharper, not like the forgotten corners where Nara had been hidden. Guards stood at every door. Finally, he was pushed into a cold room made of glass and steel. At the center stood a tall alien figure, thin, gray-skinned, long fingers. His white lab coat bore the symbol of the Sovereign Genetic Corps, Dr. Halvex. "You must be the emotional human," the doctor said, not looking up from his screen. Jace struggled against his restraints. "Where is she?" Halvex raised a finger. "Safe. For now." He turned around and smiled, sharp teeth showing. "Your actions were foolish but useful. The spike in her energy when she tried to protect you, it gave us enough readings to unlock the final code." Jace's heart dropped. No. Halvex tapped the screen. Behind him, a chamber lit up. Inside, Nara floated in a tank of liquid, tubes in her arms, eyes closed. DNA sequence complete, the screen read. Halvex looked pleased. Now, we don't need her anymore. Jace's voice shook. She'll die if you take more. That was always the plan, Halvex replied. But don't worry, her genetic copy will live forever. In weapons across the galaxy, Jace snapped. You'll never get away with this. Halvex chuckled. Oh, but we already have. He waved his hand. Guards dragged Jace back toward the door. This is the end for you, technician. But just before they reached the exit, the lights went out. Crack. A sudden burst of electricity knocked the guards to the ground. Jace fell free. Sparks flew from the ceiling. And then, through the smoke, a soft light appeared. Jace! It was her voice. Nara. She floated gently to the floor, the glass tank shattered behind her, eyes glowing, skin healed, hair flowing like white fire. They made a mistake, she said. They thought I was weak. Halvex stepped back. No. I'm not a weapon, she said. I'm a person. She raised her hand. The walls cracked, the room shook, and every control screen went black. Jace stared, stunned. You're awake. Nara turned to him. You kept your promise. Now it's my turn. She held out her hand. Let's finish this. Together. The sirens howled across the research station. Containment breach. DNA subject loose. Full lockdown initiated. Red lights flashed. Doors sealed. Soldiers ran through the halls. Power flickered, and in the center of the chaos, Nara stood barefoot, in the shattered lab, her white hair glowing, her body wrapped in steam rising from the broken tank. Jace looked up from the floor, still dazed. His wrists were free now, cut by a pulse of energy that came from her. Nara, he whispered. She turned, eyes bright and strange, filled with light and pain. We need to move. He pushed himself up. Are you okay? Nara nodded slowly. I'm not healed, but I'm awake. They ran, down metal stairs through dark tunnels. The station was crumbling. Power overloads made the walls shake. AI systems screamed. Security bots shot randomly in the smoke. Nara stumbled. Her steps were slow, unsteady. Jace wrapped his arm around her waist, holding her up. I've got you. She leaned on him, coughing softly. I thought I died. You almost did, Jace said. But you came back. She gave a tired smile. I came back for you. Behind them, soldiers appeared. 4 armed guards with energy rifles. Freeze, one shouted. Jace pulled Nara behind a broken pillar. Blasts hit the walls. Sparks rained. Down. He checked his stolen pistol. Only 2 shots left. Then Nara touched his shoulder. Let me try. He stared at her. Are you sure? She stepped forward. Her fingers glowed faint blue. She raised both hands. A shimmering pulse exploded from her palms, like a wave of heat and wind. The soldiers were knocked backward, slammed into walls. Weapons scattered. Lights went out. Jace blinked in shock. What was that? Nara fell to her knees. That was all I had left. Jace scooped her into his arms. No more fighting. We get out now. He ran through fire-lit corridors, dodging falling metal. The main hangar was ahead. Jace knew there was one escape ship docked. A supply shuttle. Fast, unarmed, but good enough to run. He slammed his hand against the launch bay door. Nothing. System override needed. Nara stirred in his arms. Put me down. No, Jace said. You're too weak. She looked him in the eyes. Please, I can help. He lowered her gently. She pressed her palm to the access panel. Her skin shimmered, her blood lighting up the system. The door unlocked. The bay opened. Let's go, she whispered. They ran into the hangar. The shuttle rested on Its pad engine warm ramped down, but before they reached it, a new danger appeared. Dr. Halvex, wearing battle armor, holding a plasma whip. I warned them not to let you live, he growled. But now I'll end this myself. Jace stepped forward. Stay back, Nara. Halvex laughed. You think you can stop me, technician? I don't have to, Jace said, aiming his pistol. Click empty, Halvex charged, but Jace didn't run. He grabbed a metal rod and swung. The whip cracked, missing by inches. Jace ducked, rolled, tackled Halvex into a crate. They fought, fists and steel clashing, falling to the floor. Nara reached for Jace, but her legs gave out again. Then she saw it, a power cord sparking near Halvex's feet. She didn't think. She crawled forward, grabbed the wire, and jammed it into his armor. Zap! Electricity surged, Halvex screamed, then dropped. Smoke rose. Silence returned. Jace stood up, breathing hard. That was close. Nara looked up at him. We have to go, before they reboot the lockdown. They ran into the shuttle. Jace slammed the hatch button. Engines roared to life. He jumped into the pilot seat. Never flown one of these solo. Nara smiled weakly. I'll guide you. He looked back. You sure? She sat beside him. I told you. I came back for you. Jace took her hand. Then let's leave. Together. As the shuttle lifted, off, the station shook behind them. Explosions burst across the upper decks. Fire swallowed the labs. The nightmare was ending, and in the small shuttle, 2 broken people, 1 human, 1 alien, flew away from it all. Jace glanced at her. You saved me. Nara leaned her head on his shoulder. You saved me first. The stars looked peaceful, too peaceful. The small escape shuttle floated quietly through space. Its engines were set to low power. Its lights were dimmed. Inside, Jace sat in the pilot's seat, hands gripping the controls. His eyes scanned the black. But something inside him knew. They weren't alone. Nara lay on the cot behind him, wrapped in a blanket. Her breathing was slow but steady. Her glow was returning, faint but alive. Jace looked back at her. She hadn't spoken much since they left the station. She had nearly died for him. Now he was ready to return the favor all over again. The onboard AI beeped softly. Warning. Multiple ships detected. Interceptors. No beacon ID. Likely hostile. Jace cursed under his breath. Bounty hunters. Nara stirred. They tracked us. He nodded. I tried masking the signal, but we didn't get far enough. She sat up weakly. They want me back. Or my body. Jace looked her in the eyes. They'll have to go through me first. The enemy ships came fast, sleek, black, shaped like blades. No warnings, no messages, just target lock. Jace flipped switches and pulled the shuttle into a sharp turn. The engine screamed, Nara, we have no weapons. She crawled into the co-pilot seat, breathing hard. Then we run smart. Jace smiled through the fear. I like that. They dove into a nearby asteroid field. Rocks drifted silently like giants asleep in the dark. The ship weaved between them, every move barely missing impact. Behind them, red lasers flashed. One shot scraped their side, leaving burn marks. Shields are failing. Jace shouted. Nara's fingers glowed. She touched the ship's console. Suddenly, the shield power flickered, then jumped by 20%. Jace stared. You powered the ship? She smiled. Only a little. I'm linked to its systems now. He laughed. You're full of surprises. One bounty ship got close. Too close. Jace pulled hard left, but a blast hit their rear engine. The shuttle spun out, crashing into a small asteroid side. Systems went dark. Silence. Smoke filled the cockpit. Jace coughed. You okay? Nara nodded, bleeding slightly from her forehead. Yes, but we can't fly anymore. Jace stood up. Then we hide. They left the shuttle and crawled into a narrow cave inside the asteroid. It was cold, silent, lit only by Nara's faint glow. Jace pulled her close, holding her steady. They'll scan this rock, he said. When they find the shuttle's heat trail, they'll look inside. Nara closed her eyes. Then I'll end it. What? She pulled away slowly. If I go to them, they might let you go. Jace grabbed her hand. No. That's not how this ends. She looked into his eyes. You've done enough for me, Jace. I can't let you die too. Jace shook his head. We either get out of this, or we go down together. She touched his face, her thumb brushing his cheek. Why are you like this? Why did you choose me? He answered without thinking. Because when I looked at you, I didn't see a lab sample. I saw someone worth saving. Suddenly, the cave shook. One of the hunter ships had landed. A spotlight pierced the dark, scanning inside. Jace stood in front of her. Nara raised her hand. If I give myself to them... Jace turned sharply. I said no. She stepped closer. Then let me fight. Her glow began to rise again. She looked like a star in a body too small to hold her power. If they want my DNA, they'll have to taste my fury first. The hunters entered the cave. One aimed a gun, the other spoke. Subject 13A, come now and we won't destroy your friend. Nara stepped forward, but Jace beat her to it. Too late, he said. He threw a small black device, an EMP pulse, into their hands. It exploded, knocking them back. In that instant, Nara released her energy, a storm of blue light. It filled the cave, burned the air, melted the weapons. The hunters screamed and fell. And then, silence. Only Jace and Nara remained standing. Barely. Back in the shuttle, they repaired just enough of the systems to jump to light speed. Nara leaned against Jace's shoulder, shaking, glowing softly. We'll find somewhere safe, Jace whispered. Nara closed her eyes. As long as we're together, anywhere is home. The shuttle landed on a quiet moon, far from the systems that cared about credits, science, or stolen lives. It wasn't a paradise. The sky was gray. The ground was cracked and dry. But for Jace and Nara, it was peace. They walked slowly toward an old human outpost long abandoned but still standing. Its comms were dead, its systems offline, but it had shelter, air, a roof. Nara stepped inside first, her bare feet silent on the dusty floor. She looked around, then whispered, It's quiet. Jace smiled. No sirens, no labs, no chains. I'll take it, she turned toward him. Are we safe? He looked at the stars. For now. And maybe long enough to start something new. In the days that followed, they cleaned the outpost, repaired the generators, set up basic systems. Nara slept more. Her body needed rest. Her energy had been used too many times. Jace cooked with ration packs and boiled moon herbs to make something like tea. They didn't speak much, but they didn't need to. Just breathing freely, together, was enough. One evening, Nara sat near the open window. A soft breeze passed through her hair. She watched the stars in silence. Jace sat beside her, holding 2 warm mugs. You know, he said. You could hide here forever. She looked at him. But I don't want to. He raised an eyebrow. No? She shook her head. I want to be seen. As me. Not as a specimen. Not as DNA. But as Naraven. Jace smiled. Then we tell the truth. We send a message. Let the galaxy hear your story. Her eyes softened. They'll come for me. We'll be ready. They repaired the old comm tower. Jace reprogrammed the transmission core. Nara added her voice. Together, they crafted a message. Not angry, not vengeful, but honest. My name is Naraven. I was taken because of what I carry in my blood, but I am more than DNA. I am alive. I feel. I choose. And I am not alone. If you hear this, Know that your life is worth something. Even when the galaxy forgets you, someone will remember. Jace hit send. The signal pulsed into the sky. Across nearby systems, rogue ships, deep space colonies, and old resistance cells received the broadcast. Some ignored it, some saved it, but a few whispered her name. Nara, the lab girl who lived. The human who saved her. They're real. Later that night, Jace stood on the rooftop. Nara joined him, wrapped in a soft blanket. She looked up at the sky. What now? Jace pointed at a cluster of stars. Out there. People are still being used, hurt, forgotten. She nodded. And we know how that feels. He smiled. So maybe it's time to do something about it. She reached out and took his hand. You believed in me when no one else did, she said softly. You saw me. Not what I could give, or what I could be sold for. Just me. He looked at her. And I'll keep seeing you. Every day. Her glow brightened for a moment. Not from power, but from hope. Weeks later, their signal reached a hidden Terran resistance base. A commander listened to the message 3 times. Then she stood and said, Find them. Not to capture, to protect. They've started something. Back on the moon, Nara stepped out into the sunlight for the first time without fear. No chains, no watchers, no tests. Just wind on her face and Jace beside her. He handed her a small metal plate. Her name was etched on it. Naraven and Free. She ran her fingers across it. It's the first time I've seen my name and believed it. Jace looked at her gently. You were never just DNA. You were a person all along. The rest of the galaxy's just catching up.